All right, welcome to the Downwind Foil World Tour podcast. We have Alex Tibbits on, and he's fresh off probably his best result to date. Definitely his best result in Hawaii. Alex Tibbits, tell us how you went today in the Maui to Molokai.
Yeah, well, you're spot on there. That was my best result, considering the depth of the field that was competing today. Yeah, came out with a fourth in the M2M, so super stoked with that. It definitely improved last year. I think I got maybe 10th or 11th last year, so which is still another good result. But yeah, still stoked to come out with fourth, chasing down those young guns.
Yeah, I think you were the oldest by a little bit, mate. I don't know. How old
I
are
got
you,
10
Tibby?
years on him. I think I had 10 years
Yeah,
on him. I'm 35,
35. Yeah,
35 years young. So yeah, just holding on to the last years of youth or competitiveness, really.
yeah. Yeah, well, before we dive into the race, I want to get a little bit of background on you, Tibby. You've been downwind foiling for a little bit, but what were you doing before downwind foiling? And like, obviously, you've got a bit of you got some athletic ability. I think you've used it before, so yeah, share with everyone what you've done previously.
Yeah, okay. Well, 2021, I think I started foiling. It was one of those old school Armstrong setups, the CF16. And I saw Jeremy Riggs do a paddle up on the flat water the first time. I think he was one of the first guys to do a flat water paddle up. I'm like, holy shit, this sport is for me. Because it just the endless opportunities that can bring up. You can go on the canals, you can do anything, you can go any sort of swell. I'm like, okay, downwinding is my thing. Grew up doing nippers and surf lifesaving on the Sunshine Coast. So got pretty serious in that through the teenage years and early 20s. Made it in the Nichigain series there for a few years. It was about, I think it was 4 or 5 years back to back from late teens. And then 23, I decided to give up the athletic life and join the Special Forces, Australian Army as a commando. So that definitely kept me fit. Did that for about 6 years. So yeah, not sucking for punishment there. And then got out of there in 2019 and found foiling. And I've got a few injuries from I guess from thrashing the body over the years and sore backs and bad hips. And the low impact of the foiling has just essentially given me passion back for pushing the body again. Because you had to sort of cut back on some running on weights, whereas the cardio ability of the downwind foiling has just got me hooked again.
So good. I'm so excited to see you like finding that passion again. You used to like. I want to go back to the Nutrigrain Ironman stuff because people overseas maybe don't know how serious that is, but that's like a sport that's shown on TV here in Australia. It's a like, I got a mate. I think you're pretty good mates with Kendrick Louis, and he won it a few years ago, didn't he?
Yeah, he has. I think he's still racing.
Yeah,
He's the same age, still holding on.
yeah, yeah. But it's a serious sport, and it's. I've done I did the Iron X, which I got invited because I included SAP for one of the races, and I got absolutely my ass handed to me. I think I came second last. I was stoked to not come last, but yeah, they're serious athletes. The Iron, I guess the surf life saving Ironmen, and so yeah, Tibby, you can definitely see you got an engine to be keeping up with those boys, let alone when you showed it again today. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
so
Yeah,
cool.
definitely puts you in good stead there. You got 4 different disciplines. Got to training twice a day, sometimes up to 4 or 5 hours a day. Back when you were in the serious Nutrigrain series, there was a long time ago. It used to be the Uncle Toby's in Nutrigrain, so I think some people might resonate with that. A lot of people, younger people, probably won't. And now it's turned into the Strong Partners I'm in series. So that's my background. Born on the
Yeah.
water.
There's another ex-Ironman on the course today, actually, Dave Kassane, and I'm sure he's told you before, but
He was
if he
one of them.
hasn't, you have to pull him aside. But yeah, Kiss is an ex-Ironman as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
gone pretty well for an old Charger. I think he was
yeah,
Uncle Toby, and yeah, that engine is still going in him. That's for sure.
absolutely. Yeah, so cool. Well, why don't we do a little bit of a background on, like, you've had a pretty good pre-season leading up to Hawaii. To me, it kind of started in Western Australia. You had some great results over in Perth. For the first two stops of the Downwind Foil World Tour. The one that stands out for me in particular was the West Coast Downwinder, which was an absolute grind of a race. And Tibby, tell everyone how much like your specs. Like you're a big human, I guess the best way to put it. Like what's your height? What do you weigh?
Meter 86 and 97 on a good day to 99, 100 on a rough day. 100
Yeah,
kilos. That is.
yeah. So the West Coast Downwinder was like onshore day. It's a coast run, and basically Jared, myself, Kai, Thompson, and you were pretty much all using similar sized foils, but Tibby's 15 to 20 or 15 kilos heavier than Jared and I, and he's on the same foil racing us on this onshore day on the 1250R, and man, that was an absolute grind of a race. And for you, like when I sort of put my head around like what you were doing, basically on like equivalent, it's like a 1075 or a 960 for me, with you being on a 1250. Like that was absolutely amazing. Like a fourth place finish with like basically a sprint finish with Kai Thompson. You could definitely tell you got an engine. You got a bit of ticker in you too, because yeah, that was a tough race, and it was back and forth the whole way with all four of us. But yeah,
I
tell
think
us a little bit about that race, just briefly.
yeah, appreciate the talk up there. Yeah, that's 100% the hardest race that we did. No one's expecting to even make it, but we all thought, "Oh, stuck it, we'll chuck on the big wings." Yeah, chucked on the 1250 for that. That was, yeah, straight onshore. What was it, about 15, 20 knots? And we just didn't have an option because the ski paddlers were going, so they weren't going to hold the race, and we just had to go. And yeah, so I remember, I think I had the lead for about a third, the mid third of the race. Then
Definitely, yeah.
Jared, the animal, he's the one that didn't even come down. So I gassed out about 2/3 of the way in. Few came down quite a couple of times, but Jared managed to just keep pumping the whole way and didn't come down. Didn't come off foil. But yeah, to date, that was the hardest race. But it was also a bit of an awakening in that what the sport can do. Like where
For
no one
sure.
has ever done a race like that, and it's actually good to see that where the sport's going is you can almost hold a race on in just about any conditions.
And that's the thing, like, and it was a good race. Like between you, Kai, Jared, and myself, there were lead changes every minute, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, like it was back and forth. We were all doing the same thing, struggling, but we all made it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it was wild. And then the doctor, how'd you end up in the doctor? I think you were
Yeah, I
was
think
it
I come around eighth or something. So I had a pretty average run. I took the big wing because we had that flat water start for about, was it nearly a kilometre? We sort of only three of you guys made that. I just got to before the turning buoy and came down and sort of was exhausted, and then just Western Australia weed just kept coming and kept coming. So I didn't really
yeah.
have the best race there that I was hoping for. But still came out with the eighth. I think it was the eighth or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it was top 10 for sure. And then I guess fast forward through the, I guess, Christmas, New Year's sort of break, and then you came down to Sydney for the the Sydney Downwind Foil event, and had a keeper result there from memory, second place.
Yeah, second behind Kai. Again, that was a bit of an eye opener because there was no wind there, and he used the 1250 again on that. And what was that? 12 Ks of almost flat water pumping.
Yeah,
So that was
there was
a bit,
swell, but the wind was non-existent. Huh? It was tough.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it was slow going, but
yeah,
again, another grind.
yeah,
And then we had a couple of races in Queensland. The G-Brock, historically known for having zero wind, we got super
yeah,
lucky for that the day it was on. So I got up there and had a win in there. That's 45 kilometres. And then we had just a local race on the Sunshine Coast. So I got the win against Trent Gordon up there.
yeah.
And
But you
great.
can't really you say just the local boys. Like the local boys, include Trent Gordon, who got third at the Sydney race, but also Kai Thompson, who didn't make that local race that time. But like you've got a serious crew that you train with. Dave West used to be part of the crew as well. So it's pretty elite, I think,
We're
yeah,
certainly pushing
Trent,
each other up there.
yeah, absolutely. It's very cool.
Rowan Creed as well. He's
Oh,
pushing everyone.
yeah, I'm not sure he's in the elite category, and he wouldn't mind me saying that either, but I think he's learning a lot from you guys, I think, and the longer he hangs out with you guys, the longer,
Yeah.
the quicker he'll get it. But no, we love Rowan. He's a character.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, and then maybe we just go into a little bit like the Voyager race and Paddle and then we'll dive on deep into M2M stuff.
Yeah, so I didn't do the Voyager race.
That's right, yeah.
And then went Paddle. I've done the race 3 times in Imua, and I've actually never made the lagoon. So I was a bit stressed out there. So I'm like, stuff it. I'm putting on a big wing. I need to make this lagoon. So I chucked on 660, and yeah, I definitely overpowered for the main drag, but just made the lagoon. So I finished up 14th there. I just didn't really count towards too many points, so I just didn't want to take too much of a risk there. So I was pretty happy to come away with 14th on that.
Yeah, and it was super tight from, I'd say, 4th to probably 14th, actually, because there was about, if you look back at the results, I think there's about 2 seconds between everyone in about 10 places. Yeah, and so you were just behind a big pack, it looked like. But you had a few boards to sort of dodge as you came through, it looks like.
Yeah, Luke Acko just hit a leaf, had to dodge him, and yeah, it's a bit of a traffic jam coming through that reef entrance. So it was, very, very stacked up the front, that's for sure.
Yeah, when you think of a race that suits someone, I guess bigger and a bit heavier, Paddle isn't one that springs to mind as one that would suit you. I think that the channel crossings, to me, suit you a little bit more. So yeah, let's talk about Maui to Molokai now. Like I guess kicking off with I guess what you're thinking in terms of gear choice. I guess don't give too much away because it's unreleased, but gear choice in terms of like what you've been using recently, and then yeah, what about then run us through I guess the start and everything.
Yeah, so I guess everything just worked perfect for me. I had I guess the best race I had. Did a practice run through on Tuesday and tested a line and stuck to that because I knew that wasn't too far out or too close. It was sort of in the middle, so I just put it on my watch, made sure I stuck to that line. And usually, the last couple of years in M2, I get a bit tense and nervous on the start. I just cooled myself down at the start and took a breath. Treated as a training run to get up. Took maybe 10 seconds to get up. So that was essentially a smooth run and picked the right gear. So we got some really good prototype gear coming from Code. And it was, it was sub 600. And it was just the right gear for the day for my size as well. I was able to hold with a big bomb and swells. And then also as the waves stacked up towards the finish in the second half, I was able to up and over some of them and maintain speed through that. So that was just came down to just the right gear for the time and no falls. So that's always a win.
No falls, yeah, unreal, mate. Yeah, it's so, I've always known you've had the potential, but whenever we race, I always know that I'll get you in the start. you know, so how was your start? Did you get up like on the gun, or was it 10 seconds, 20 seconds, a minute?
It was actually about 10 seconds. So there was probably 10 or 15 people in front of us from the start. I just had to take just ease myself down and just focus on getting up, not gassing myself too much. I knew that once I was up, the bumps that were there, I'd be able to hone into them and stay with them. So didn't really freak out too much, and it paid off. We got through the first half of the race in the channel, and Kane and Kai weren't too far out of sight. So I was stoked to be as close as I was to them.
Yeah, no, I was watching live on the dots, and you're pretty much like right with Kane and Kai. It looks like for the majority of the race. Like you had a good start, it looked like, and then you're with this pack. And Edo was to the north. I don't think you would have been able to see him. He was probably too far north for vision.
Yeah, I saw Edo, and I thought it was a winger that ditched his wing because he was so far ahead and so far inside. I was like,
yeah,
surely that's not someone in the 4 race, because I could see Kane and Kai out wide. I'm thinking this other guy's too far in front. They can't be in our race. But yep, it was Edo. Took the super close north line, and it obviously worked out for him. And the engine that he's got on him, he could just up and over all those slow moving bumps.
Yeah,
yeah. I kind of took the middle line, and Kane and Kai stayed in the channel for quite a bit longer towards the finish.
Yeah, it looks like when I was sort of at the watch party, I was sort of saying, I think Tibby might have taken a bit of a inside, like an in-between line to try to overtake, a bit of a racing strategy. Like I'm not going to beat him on the line that I'm on, so I'm going to try to like cut the corner a little and get Kane and Kai that way. Was that right, or was it just you sticking to your track, or just the way it was?
Yeah, I was just sticking to my track because after that run through, I was like, too far in. There was just going to be too much compressed swell, and then too far out, you're just covering too much distance. So I thought this wasn't sort of necessary, but worked out all right. I was happy with the fourth.
Yeah. Do you feel like you gained a bit of ground by doing that, like going away from Kane and Kai, or that you lost a bit of ground by doing that? I'm just curious.
I think I lost it. because I was managing. They weren't really pulling away too much through that first half of the channel where there was big bomb and swells. So they probably slowed down a bit. Couple of kilometers were about 10 seconds slower. I'm not too sure what it was like in the middle of the channel when they stayed a bit longer, but yeah.
To me, watch you go.
Tough two guys to beat. So I was happy to take that line. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, from watching along, it looks like you lost probably maybe 20, 30 seconds by sort of, or they increased, they pushed hard at the end, or at the last couple of kilometers, it looks like you lost a little bit of ground. But chatting to a few people after the race, they were saying that, they went a little bit too far south, Edo won doing that north line, maybe they should have gone more north. I'm not sure about that. I think Edo made the north line work.
Yeah. The engine that he's got on him, he can almost make anything work.
Yeah, it was impressive to see. And Edo, from what I could see, was the only one that stayed north that managed to hold everyone else off. There were a few people behind him. Pace and Trent were sort of up in that sort of northern line, and they lost a fair bit of ground as everyone else went south. And then as it sort of came back in towards at the end, it seemed like they'd lost a bit of space. But it was real to watch, mate. And
you missed out on this one, mate. I wish you were there.
Yeah, everyone was saying it was a good one too. So I'm like, damn it, sounds like a fun one to do. But there's plenty more.
Yeah, the swell carrying through was much bigger than what I've ever been in. So on the inside, so that was fun. It wasn't too much up and over because swell was actually getting through on up on the northern side a bit.
Yeah, last year I remember having a moment just when the conditions change, when you sort of pass that sort of Kamalo area and it goes from swells to that sort of more compressed, like bay run sort of style stuff. And I had you and Jared pass me like I wasn't moving, and I was like, man, what am I doing wrong? Because I just didn't adapt to the conditions. So obviously you got that last part figured out, I would say, and it showed today, and it showed when you flew past me last year too. So yeah, it's
Get
super
you
impressive.
Go
I guess I want to talk about obviously Molokai to Oahu, but also a bit of the stuff you've done for training as well. I've seen you don the lycra, get a few
on.
road bike sessions in,
Yeah.
part of the training program.
Yeah, it kind of was. I decided to do it, just randomly decided to do a little Mulabar triathlon. So that was the standard Olympic distance. First time on a bike was February. So let's stuff it. That's good cross training and mix it up a bit. So jumped on the road bike, did a triathlon, and yeah, I got put into, they had a category for Clydesdale. So that was a weight category. And for some reason that week, it was a bad week before the lead up to it. I jumped on the scales and I was 101 kilos. So they put me into the 100 kilo plus category. And then first ever triathlon came out with a win in that, 2 hours 14. So it
There you
was
go.
interesting. So yeah, that's definitely good cross training.
Definitely.
But we've also had really good conditions back home this season for downwinding. So we been getting out, geez, more than half times a week downwinding. We had an oddly good winter with southerly winds, so that's obviously definitely helped with the prep.
Absolutely. Any gym stuff? Edo posts a lot of stuff in the gym. Are you flogging yourself, throwing a medal around as well, or trying to keep it up?
Yeah. I pick and choose with the gym. Be going to like a local one called Rebel. It's just, I don't know, just your standard kind of gym group classes. I got to be careful when I'm doing weights off the ground because my back flares up on that. But not too much. More, I kind of have been sticking to the cardio because I don't really need to. I'm trying to lose weight. Don't need to put any more on. And it was odd. I did. Yeah, and did the triathlon and put on weight, so that was a bit odd. But anyway, here we
Yeah,
are.
seriously. Yeah. Eating too much, mate. Feeding in a good paddock.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. M2O. That's the big one. And, leading into this weekend, there was to me and a few people I've been chatting to, I guess, analysing the Downwind Foil racing, there's been, Edo and Kane seem to be pretty clearly out in front, followed very closely by Kai Thompson. And today you showed that you're well and truly in that group with Kane and Kai. At least, I guess Edo was a bit further north running his own thing. But does that give you a bit of confidence heading into M2O?
Yeah, it certainly does, because after that start, I sort of realised all the potential of these new wings that I've been riding on, and I was able to sort of lock into some really good swells that some of the other competitors on the field kind of weren't able to. I don't get as much glide and speed as I was, so that gave us a bit of confidence, that's for sure. And yeah, the forecast is saying there's going to be quite a big south swell coming in for the M2O, so that's very promising for me. But using gravity to my advantage there and the full 100 kilos.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess that south swell, is that you're thinking for the finish, like I guess the normally or traditionally a little bit flatter coming in around Black Point? You're thinking the swells are going to help for that last flatter section?
More so in the channel. That's where the speed can be made for me, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go too small, play it a little bit safe. Still sub 600 foil, I think, if the conditions stay the same. And lucky enough to do a couple of run-throughs for the finish before we went to Maui. So kind of happy with the choice I got. As long as there's some sort of swell, I'll be pretty content. But it was good to see out there today that actually this new stuff I'm on can lock into some big swells and stay on it. Don't need much wind, just need the swell.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, I've always felt that for the foil, the M2M has always been, basically I'd size up, or I'd use, say, like a 770 for the M2M and a 680 for the M2O is how I always tell. Just because there's that longer open ocean channel, the Palolo is only really about 20 k's, and you go into that along the coast sort of part of the along the coast of Molokai, and it does get a little bit. If you go too far, and it definitely becomes a bit like a bay run. The fetch is a bit shorter and the bumps are super tight, super clean. Whereas the KV channel is a big channel, and to be running like fast and bombing down swells, to me, it just means I'm excited to see how you go, Tibby. Basically, I'm really pumped. Obviously, Code Foils. I'm part of Code Foils, so I'm really rooting for you. But also just to see, Kane, Edo, Kai, they've kind of been the top three for a while. Mix up's kind of nice.
Yep. Well, there's just the whole top 10 at least. They're so pressed. It's so competitive out there now. So many young guns that you got to try and keep at bay. But yeah, super pumped to see how we go on Monday.
Yeah. what's the strategy? Obviously you need a good start, but like, I guess really it's the north or south. Like, what have you got a line in choice? What's
Yeah,
the
I
thought
think I've got to
process?
stay away from the backwash China walls. So more south. Last couple of years, I've gone a bit too close. Even last year, I went a bit too far north, and I even fell down 7 times,
Oof, yeah,
which was pretty annoying. And less boats this year definitely make it a bit more enjoyable. But yeah, probably going to try and stick into the channel till last resort, really.
yeah. Do you have an escort boat this year? Like they've changed it
No,
up this year that not everyone needs one. So yeah, so you've opted against
yeah, no
which
escort boat this year. I think there's 30 paddlers a minute this year that were able to have no escort boats, and which absolutely makes sense because every year I've done it, the escort never found us until the very finish. So
yeah,
good move on their behalf.
yeah, good option. And so did you say just like 30 athletes were picked for no escort boats?
Yeah, the last email I read.
Yeah.
Yeah, 30
Well, hopefully
athletes.
that's the top 30, because definitely if the top 30 or, around that, like if there's less escort boats at the front, it definitely makes it a cleaner race, doesn't it? For everyone,
Yeah,
not just everyone else around, but everyone behind as well.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
not as much luck in there.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I'm, uh, I'm pumped, Tibby. I think a lot of people wouldn't have had you on their fantasy team, so to speak. But I guess, us at Code, the meetings we have each week, we've been quietly confident that Tibby's going to have a pretty solid showing. And I wouldn't say we were nervous after Paddlemua, but we were like, it's not really his race.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And then, when we were watching the dots this morning, Dan, in particular, the guy that does our, I guess, the blends for the foil, was overly excited, just like,
Excellent.
yes, Jimmy, So
Good
it was,
person.
you have to watch back the
Too
live.
good.
Yeah, it
Too
was
good.
very cool. But yeah, I guess there's the Camelo run tomorrow as well. That's part of the Koakai. What are your plans for that?
Yeah. New program for the Molokai this year. I guess I don't know where the start is. Don't know what the course is. So I'll have to research that when I go lay in bed. I,
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, it's basically just it's basically the second half of the 2M. So like when you hit when the bumps start to get smaller, that's when it hits the Camelo buoy, and basically from there to the finish I think it's like somewhere between 15 and 18 kilometers, I think.
yeah. Okay.
So it's just that second half of the run basically. So
Yeah.
I
I'll
assume
probably
you
end up
just
using.
use what you're using.
Yeah,
Same.
probably end up using the same setup. And what do we got? What do we think? Probably half an hour, 40 minutes worth. That's a sprint. We'll see how we go. Just try up and over and try be an Edo.
Yeah, exactly. Save something in the tank because I think it's only worth, like, they times the time, like, it's 2 stars, so the times times by 2 for M2M, times by 1 for the Camelo, and times by 3 for M2O. So you want to make
Okay.
sure you don't blow yourself up and save
Yeah.
some in the tank for the big one that's worth
Yeah.
3 for the Koakai. Yeah,
Sweet. Try not to blow a gap. My legs are a bit
yeah,
stiff right now.
yeah. Bloody oath, mate. You're not as young as the other ones you're competing
No,
against. So
no. Yeah, recovery was much quicker uh, a decade
10
ago.
years
That's
ago.
for sure.
Yeah. I'm just going to bring up the rankings for the Downwind Foil World Tour just to sort of, it hasn't been updated just yet because the official results aren't quite in. But what we can see is that Tibby, you're banking a 4th and an 8th. So basically an 85 points plus another 4th today will get you up to sort of 135-ish points, which is going to have you leapfrog me, that's for sure, and probably not quite get Axel. But I think you'd be sitting in 4th place right now on the
Yeah.
Downwind Foil World Tour, with Edo and Kane well and truly breathing down your neck. Yeah, Kane might even be ahead of you as well, actually, now after
Yeah.
that. But it's going to be a tight battle for these last few spots. I think Kai and Jared are sort of cemented 1st and 2nd, but 3rd through to probably 8th is going to be moving a fair bit. So
Yeah.
I'll update this before M2O starts. We'll see what results you need and who you got to hold off
Yeah.
to see how it all works out.
It's going to be
But
exciting to see the culmination for the World Tour coming into the M2O.
yeah, no, I'm excited to see all the Hawaiian guys sort of, rightly so, move their way up the rankings. As there's been a bit of comment online that, there's no way that Edo shouldn't be, outside the top 10 on the rankings, but I sort of broke it to him and said he's not
Got to
even on the
travel.
rankings. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not even on the rankings. He hasn't traveled. So it's as simple
Yeah.
as that. You got to sort of opt in to be part of the Downwind Foil World Tour, and the 2 Hawaiian races, they're massive, but they're only two stops and you need to compete in at least 4. So one overseas trip is all that's required. And this is your overseas trip, Tibby. You're competing in unknown waters, compared to Edo. So it's
Yep.
yeah, it'd be interesting to see how. I really hope Edo does jump on board and travel to some of the races next year or the year after once he sorts out his citizenship stuff. But yeah, it'd be
Yep.
cool to see. I guess just
Be
to
good to see
highlight. I
more
guess
Hawaiian come to Australia as well. Less
yeah,
logistic. They're all very well organised events. Yeah, different scenery.
yeah, different scenery exactly. Then obviously the conditions are different. Like it's all weather. But we got a little unlucky in Western Australia last year. It wasn't a very good representative of what Australians downwind in all the time. But it was an unseasonal storm, I guess, that hit us at the exact wrong time. So sometimes you get unlucky. That's the racing though. That's events.
Yep.
But yeah, Tibby, really stoked to have you on here. A huge congrats on a huge result today. Do you want to leave us with anything?
I would
Give
just
us
wish you're
something.
over here, mate.
What's that?
Wish you're over here. Wish you're over
Yeah.
here racing this all.
Yeah. Well, you got this year. You got this 1 year off. I'll be back next year, and I've got more than 12 months to prepare for next year. Is a good thing. Whereas you guys are still thinking about the races that are coming. I'm thinking about M2M next year already.
2027, baby.
Yeah, 2027, baby. Yeah. So yeah, stoked to have you on here, Tibby, and yeah, good luck for the remaining races.
Awesome, mate. Cheers. Thanks for having us. Get well soon,
Easy.
mate. Bye.
Catch up.